folks, Rich here. Welcome back to the RC Informer YouTube channel, and on the desk today I have for you guys a complete unboxing and assembly of the latest airplane coming from the X-Fly lineup at Banana Hobby. This is the all-new Boeing T-7A trainer jet, folks. This is the military jet designed to replace, I think it's the T-38, and we have it here for you guys in a 4-cell powered 64mm fixed gear version. Now this plane is intended to be small, it's simple, it's, you know, I think it's 960 millimeters long, 64mm fan in it, and it has fixed gear for flying off of pavement, geotextile, or hard packed grass. And for those guys, you guys that are belly land and hand launch guys, you're probably going to love this thing because the landing gear just unscrews and comes off, and it's intended to be hand thrown and belly landed in the grass. So it looks like a really nice model. I'm pumped to get it out of the box. It's really only 4 channels, folks. And as far as flying wise goes, it's only aileron, it's elevator, and it's throttle control. There's no rudder, there is nose wheel steering, so it is a 4th channel because of the nose wheel steering. But it's meant to be a very simple, very cost-effective jet. I'm going to put links in the description below the video at Banana Hobby where you guys can get this thing if you guys do want to get one. And you use the link below, put it in your cart and purchase. That supports our channel, and we really appreciate it. If you guys like what you're seeing here in this unbox setup video or build video, please like and subscribe to the channel. That always supports us. Hitting that like button, hitting that notification bell are the things that allow you guys to really help us out by spreading the word of these videos and letting more people see them. The notification bell will let you know when we put out new videos on this airplane. So we'll have the flight demo videos out. I may, depending on when they film this thing, I may have a couple clips in the beginning of this and maybe at the end of it flying. But stay tuned for the flight demo video. I will have those in the upper right hand corner of this screen. I'll put a link to it where you can click on it. It'll be a drop down menu and other videos relating to this airplane and even the X-Fly Sirius that we have here in the background, a P-40 Flying Tiger, all the airplanes that are Banana Hobby and others. I'll put some of those links here as well. Now, we'll be flying this on 4S, folks. I'm going to try several different 4S packs. Me and Gavin are going to go out and fly the heck out of this thing, and we'll try it on several different 4S packs for everybody. So anyway, guys, without further delay, let's get this thing out of the box, and let's see what this X-Fly T-7A is all about. Let's start off by getting this thing out of the box. I have actually not taken this out yet. This is my first look at it, just like you guys. So we'll go ahead and we'll cut this thing open. Get all these tape areas cut here, and let's get a close-up look at this. I put a little bit of tape on this section here because I wanted to kind of keep these from falling out, because this is an early sample from the factory, guys. I didn't even get instructions with this, so you can download those online as well. They'll probably be on the Banana Hobby site here too when the airplane gets in stock. So what we'll do is we'll pull a couple things out. Here's the landing gear here. Let me pan out a little bit for everybody so we can see maybe this thing a little bit better. There's a nose strut right here. We'll pull all these parts out little at a time. A little bag of push rods and a nose wheel steering arm, that kind of thing. Here's your vertical surfaces, real nice. I love this red tail paint job. I think it was a commemorative, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this was a commemorative kind of a red tail paint job, sort of in honor of the Tuskegee Airmen. I think I heard that somewhere, and I think that was, didn't have time to totally research it, but here's your horizontal stabilizers. There is a single wing spar here, made of carbon fiber. And then let's go ahead and pull some of these off of here, and you guys can see how this looks. These are the wings. They're in here pretty nicely. They just come right out. Wings are nice and small. I think it's only like 750, 780 something millimeter wingspan, and so it's a real kind of small model. I did look in the instructions, and the instructions said something about all of these little no step stickers that are on here are like not on it, but mine came with it on it, so maybe they're on this version, or maybe they're on the maybe they're not on the production version, but they maybe are not on the one you guys get. I'm not 100% sure. So this one came direct from the factory. This is first look, you looking at it for the first time, me looking at it for the first time, and let's see. So they got some padding in here, and let's see. I think that's it for the bulk of the big parts, but check that out of there. Slick looking paint job on that thing. I'm really kind of digging how that is. So let's lay it on flat. Let's get this thing out of here and let's look at it. Very, very nice, nice airplane all the way around. Check that out. Look how slick that is. I think this is a cool airplane. It has such a good look to it. It's a single engine, you know, trainer jet again for the military. But this is really it, folks. This is what you get with the airplane. You get the fuselage, which what I'll do is I'll put that right up here. I'm going to lay that down kind of right there on the stand. You get your two wing panels here. Let me see if I can move this stuff around here. You get your two wing panels here. We'll put those like this. And then there's a little bit of foam. You get two vertical surfaces here, which are going to be right here. You get two horizontal surfaces. You get your wing spar. You get your, again, your push rods. And you get your landing gear. And that's pretty much it, guys. That is it. So now let's take a look at each part in close detail so you guys can really see the real raw details and what this thing is all about. Okay, folks, here she is on the cruising desktop stand. You can see how nice of an airplane this is. The fit and finish is really nice. I went ahead and did a test fit of the verticals and the horizontals and everything just to kind of see how everything went together, and everything fits like a total glove. It's just real nice how everything goes on here, and you really just use some CA to glue this thing together. I'm going to use my Zappo foam safe because it really is kind of the nicest stuff around for foam airplanes, I think. It's not thin and it's not thick. It's kind of in the middle, which makes it kind of perfect for foam airplanes, especially when you're fitting parts where there's not a tremendous gap. But thin is kind of too thin, and thick to me is kind of too thick. But let's pull these off and let's get a close-up detail of this. This thing's awesome, folks. I really love the contrast of this model and just the contrastiness there of the paint job on this thing. It's just really slick. I mean, check that out. The detail on it is really awesome. It's just a sharp looking airplane. I like the way that the nose is not totally necessarily pointy. It is sideways, but up front it's more kind of like a duckbill kind of thing, and it just looks cool. It looks smart. It looks really sharp, and it's just a cool looking airplane. It's a single engine, you know, military trainer, and you know, again, painted up in the Red Tails paint job. Here's a quick look. I'll zoom in for everybody so y'all can see the different parts of this thing. There's your motor way down in there. It's a 12 blade, 64 millimeter fan in there. I don't remember offhand the KV of it, but you know, I'll put some specs up for it, and you guys can check that out. Mine didn't come with any, so it's kind of hard to kind of go into some of that stuff. But anyway, look at the detail on this thing, and I'll show you guys. Look at the nose steps. And again, I saw in the instruction manual, folks, that a lot of these nose steps, I don't know if they're applied on the production version. It looked like that was an optional sticker sheet if you didn't want them on there. But on mine, it looks like they put them on there. And check that out. It is just a sharp airplane. Very, very cool looking. The bottom of this thing's totally flat. Here you can see right here, this is where your nose wheel will insert. And we'll show you all that as we get into it. Here's where your main gear goes on with just 4 screws, and the screws are already in there. They left them in there, which is kind of nice. They're not in the bags or anything. You got a cheater hole right under here. You got your 2 elevator servos, so there's dual elevator servos. And then you can see right here where these all plug in and how nice of a fit that is. I mean, it is a glove tight. It's not super tight, but it's a very precision, you know, CAD laser, you know, type fit. So it fits on there just super nice. So it's going to be easy to put those in place. Also on the side here, you've got your plug-in. Your spar is going to go right in here in this hole. You're going to have your wing connector right there. And of course, you got the really nice kind here that have the locking tab. So I'll zoom in on that. So it's got those fantastic locking tabs that a lot of these companies are starting to use now, so you don't have to tape your connections. And then of course, you also have in here, which let me see if I can get down on this section right here, if I can point to that. You've got machine screws, guys. So the wings will come off. I'm pretty sure those are aluminum threads. Or metal threads, I should say, brass. But nice plastic doublers to get all that in. But here you can take a close look at the fit and the finish of this thing and how nice some of these panel lines are. You can see here the detail of the cockpit. I'll see if I can turn it around this way so you all check it out. So he's got a pretty modern instrument package in there and so forth. There's a nice little grab kind of grab rail thing right here, or grab antenna right here, so you can get your canopy off. There is a ventilated canopy to help prevent from blistering. There is a pilot in there, which is cool. And then there's your inside. Nice and really just simple, folks. I'll zoom in there so we can kind of take a look at everything in there. There's a battery location here, so you can use Velcro on the floor if you want to, or shelf liner, which of course you guys know I'm going to use. So EC3 connector, so it's nice that they decided to use that. Here is your nose wheel steering kind of arm and mechanism that we'll plug into, and we'll show you how that goes in there. And then here's your connections, folks. It's very simple. Again, a simple model. You've got aileron, you've got elevator, you've got throttle, and you've got rudder. And the rudder is just for the nose wheel steering alone. So, and that's really it, folks. That's how basic kind of the inside of this thing is. Of course, rare earth magnet on the back deck, kind of right here. Rare earth magnet right there, and that's how your canopy goes on. This is slick. Love the paint job, love the airplane. Also, these little plastic doublers here. These are little, I guess they're vortex generators of the sort, so along the leading edge extension. Now, leading edge extensions, normally I like to see those in plastic, but this is sort of a budget-minded model, so I don't think they made them that way. And actually, they're not really that sharp, so probably dinging them is going to be sort of to a minimum. But super nice, folks, on the fuselage for this thing. Very, very cool. Let's get on to some of the other parts as well, folks. You've got your, just like we talked about, your two horizontal stabilizers here. They just glue right on. So I'm going to be using some probably foam. I'll be using the Foam Safe Zappo, Foam Safe CA on there. You can see you've got a spar running it down here, so this thing's pretty rigid. Nice spar in there. You got ball links ready to go. You do have a foam hinge here. That might be kind of hard to see, but this is laminated all the way down here. So, and the linkage is ready to put on. These are super nice, folks. They did a good job of this. The fit and finish is awesome. And the fit, and again, the way that they fit in there is super nice. These verticals are awesome. Here's the vertical fins. Again, very simple. These just glue in. No rudder. You could probably add them if you want to. You could just cut them out. The panel lines are there, and you could probably add a rudder servo in here if you want rudder control. But again, it's meant to be a simple airplane, and you know, not too complicated. Decal application's real nice, or the sticker application, I should say. So I'm going to zoom in so everybody can see how nice that is. And you can see it shows the training command logo on there, and the T-7A logo. That's very cool. Now, mine has stickers on it, and my early planes from X-Fly do have stickers, and I think that's, I don't know if the production version, even this one, the early sample here of the Sirius had stickers on it, whereas, you know, the production version I think has decals, so that you don't really see them. So, but I'm not 100% sure. We'll kind of see what comes in the box when you all get yours. But look at the fit and finish on this. I'll zoom in on this so you guys can see how nice this goes together. All you have to do is just apply some CA in the notch there, and you can see how nice those notches are, and those just fit right in place like that. And that's really it, folks. It's like that simple. And here's the cool thing. This plane, the color is adjusting on my camera because it's in auto mode. So, and it does stuff like that. It's an automatic feature of my camera, unfortunately. But you see how nice, once you get those fins on there, and that's all you gotta do is just put some CA on those, glue them in place, and it already starts to kind of grow up and look cool already. So there's your verticals, there's your horizontals. Here's your wing spar, folks. That's going to just plug right in here. It just goes all the way through, and then the wings will go on. Here's a quick look at our wings and how nice these are. Let's look at that. There's a dog tooth leading edge, so you guys can see a staggered leading edge is what that's called. This is the dog tooth portion here, where it has kind of a slightly different airfoil to it, or an extended airfoil, and probably sort of like a little bit of a droop. There's a nice plastic doubler here, that actually mates up nicely with this side with these plug-ins on the fuselage where the screws go in. But real nice wing. Your plug is right here to get it all in place. I'll zoom in here one more time so we can kind of get a real close look at what those look like. The detail on there is awesome. All the nose steps are on there already. Your wing is, it looks like they have a setup for, I don't know if there's a light in there or not. I don't think so. I think it's just sort of a plastic kind of light lens sort of thing that they put on the end of there. But And then that's really it. Your hinge for your aileron, and again, that's all it is an aileron. It's not a flap. It is, it's laminated, the hinge, the way that they designed it. So I'll zoom in there so we can all kind of see what that looks like. You can kind of see it shine back at you along here, where yes, these are foam hinges on this airplane, but they're laminated and they're really, really tough. So nice ball link, servo's already mounted on there, and ready to go. And the spar tube, as you can see, the spar runs the length here. Let me see if I can zoom out for everybody. The main spar kind of runs right through here, and it crosses at diagonals with one that kind of goes down this way, so they kind of intersect. So the wing itself is pretty darn rigid. You know, usually small airplanes, you don't really have too much problem with flexing, so you know, that's really mostly, you know, not going to be an issue. So, but really two nice wing panels on this, folks. So really super cool. So and then last but not least, all we really have here, folks, is the landing gear, which the landing gear is just going to pop on the underside of this thing. This is the main gear. I don't think it has a rake to it at all. It's just straight, and it's got just simple wheels on it, and same with the nose strut, just a wire nose strut. And again, these landing gears are optional. You can fly with, you know, or without them. You know, use it as a hand-launched belly land. And we're going to try to show you guys all that in the flight video. Here's your 2 elevator rods, and then right here, I'm going to zoom in on this so everybody can see this. And this is your steering arm. See how close we can get on that. I think that's about it. But you can see it's an aluminum steering arm that goes on the inside of this thing. And you just basically pop off your canopy and you install it in there. There's your 4 wing screws and your set screw, and then there's a little teeny tiny kind of washer under there for your nose strut. It's sort of a spacer that you're going to use on the outside. And that's pretty much it, guys. This is a real simple, just real basic, you know, just 64 millimeter 4-channel airplane. So anyway, with that, folks, let's get all the parts together. Let's assemble this thing and see how it looks as a whole when we got it all in one piece. Now, you guys can put this together in any order you want because the components make it so that you can kind of do it any way you want. The instructions do follow a certain order, but first thing I'm going to do is put my horizontal stabilizers on, and all that really includes is just sort of gluing these in place. Again, using my Zappo foam safe. I'll zoom in here so you guys can kind of really see the detail of it really well, and kind of what it looks like. There's how your cradle is for this thing. You can see all it is just a basic glue and just putting some CA on there and just gluing it down. So I like to use acid brushes too. You're going to ruin the brush by doing this, but it just helps you kind of distribute it a little more evenly and get it on there so it doesn't kind of, you have a positive bond on there. So really all I'm going to do is just kind of put some glue on here, just get it all in place where it needs to be, put it along this edge right here. And then I'm going to use my brush to kind of move it about. You know, just kind of spread it all out, make it nice and smooth, get it sort of even so it's not. What you have to do too is be careful not to get too much of this stuff on there where it doesn't run like crazy. And that's one of the reasons I like this Zappo, is because it's shock proof and it doesn't run nearly as much as thin CA does. So it's a good idea. I'm going to put some also on the part here as well because I want to make sure that it's all sort of along here. If you have to use another brush, you know, just use another brush to do it and so forth. So, and that's it. So now with that in place, I'm just going to go ahead and push this down, make sure it's on there nice and tight, and then just hold it there for, you know, several seconds, and that should bond it completely in place. Once you have your first half of the stabilizer on, all you have to do is duplicate the same for the other side, and you can see how nicely this looks once you get it together. It only takes a few seconds. I really did find that the Zappo foam safe is the perfect balance of thin and thick. Now, if you have little extra pockets here anywhere, or you want to make a fillet, for example, right here as you zoom in, you know, to this edge right here, if you find yourself with any sort of a gap in here, that's where some of the thin CA comes in. You want to be careful you don't have it run, but you use these precision droppers here and just kind of run a bead along that edge right there, and it will get it into any cracks or any seams that you might have missed. Even on the underside here, you can see you've got seams along here, and that's where you can use thin CA to really wick into those slots. But I found getting this on here, this thing is pretty durable. It only took a few seconds to get this whole thing in place. Let me go ahead and zoom in. Once you get your elevator on, all it comes down to really is just getting your rod in place. And that's pretty simple. I think from what the instruction manual said, you use the second innermost hole, okay, from the outside. And then you put your ball link down, and we will go ahead and snap that in place. If you guys don't have ball link pliers, it's a good idea to get a pair, because it really, instead of using screwdrivers and stuff, it prevents you from really dinging up your rods and your ball links and everything. And that's really it, folks. That's all you really have to do. You want to set up everything so it's kind of 90 degrees to each other. And we'll talk about that, you know, more when we get this out to the flying field, and you know, the proper setup and the proper throw. And that's really it, guys, for getting the tail on this. To get the verticals on there, it's the same thing. Just use your favorite choice of CA. You basically just take the CA, fill it into this trench. You don't want to get it too thick, because you know, you don't want it to spill over and everything. But really all you have to do is just put glue in there. Just insert the two of these down in there. The fit and finish on this, I mean, the fit is awesome. I mean, it really just goes into place real nice, and it's really that simple. And I'll probably just glue these a little later, but just to show you how nice they go on. And that pretty much completes the tail of the airplane. You know, just CA that all in place, and check that out. It really starts to look super cool. I just think it's such a good looking airplane, and it's such a contrasty paint job. It just looks fantastic. So now let's go ahead and get the wings on the airplane, and then we'll get the gear on and we'll be done with it. Now the easiest part to get together on this airplane is the wings. Really just, there's a spar and two wings. All you have to do is just insert this thing. We'll go ahead and we'll slide one wing onto the tube. You can see how nice and easy that thing really goes on. I'm going to try to position this where y'all can really see how nice that this thing goes together. Let me go ahead and zoom in on this. So we'll show you one, and then we'll just sort of duplicate it for the other. Let me raise this on up. This thing has some of the nicest wing connections. Again, it's these kinds that have the locking tab on them, which is really pretty sharp how that goes on. There's only a little bit of wire that goes through here, folks. So you can see it goes on here, and when you push this together, it snap locks itself into place. Let me see if I can turn it so y'all can kind of see that. Just push it in place, and those two little locking tabs lock that thing into position. All you have to do is just tuck that wire into that slot, and you can see, make sure your wires go all the way in there, and that's pretty much it. It goes into place really that clean, folks. And then you flip this thing over, we'll get the screws in place, and we'll show you how nicely one of them goes on here. So we'll take two screws. I'll zoom in so you can see those screw pockets there and where those things are. All you have to do is put two screws down in there. These are beveled, they're machine screws, they're 3mm metrics. Just pop them down into place right there, and we'll get our 2mm socket, our 2mm hex driver, and we'll drive those down into place. It's a 2mm, the actual tool, as you guys probably already know, it's 2mm, but the actual screw itself is a 3mm metric. So, but the hex is 2. So they actually self-guide into there, and they have a nice sort of beveled, sort of flush edge to them. So once you get them down into place, they're nice and flush, they're nice and flat, and you have a nice clean installation. All you do is just duplicate the same for the other side, installing that wing. Now the last part of assembly is just getting the landing gear in place. We'll go ahead and put the rear landing gear on first. As you guys can see here, the 4 screws and the landing gear straps are already installed for you, and they're there for you to just take off and put back on. So we'll very carefully remove the 4 screws. We'll get those out. We'll get these two right here. Let's go ahead and get those out of their place. Let's see if I can do this in one shot here without dropping pieces all over the place. Once these come out of here, we can go ahead and take our main landing gear. Let's slide it on. It looks like it goes in there pretty decently. We'll put this strap back into place. We'll start tightening them, and that should be really about it. We'll get those 4 screws back in place. Looks like some pretty durable gear. It's pretty basic, folks, but that's really all you need for a fixed gear model. It's nice because they have these little trenches here that help hold the gear in place where it's supposed to go. And they're self-tapping screws. They're easy enough to take on and off, and they seem to go in there really well. And let's kind of see, and that should really about finish it up for the main gear. Let's go ahead and back off on that just a little bit. I'm going to tighten this up, and you can see probably what I will do is, because there's a set screw kind of right here and on this side, I'll put a little bit of foam tack there to keep those E-rings from coming off. But other than that, folks, that's it for getting your main gear on. Now the last part to put in place is the nose strut, as you can see here, and it only goes on one way. I went ahead and I assembled it so you guys can see what this thing looks like. There's a critical detail that you want to make sure that you don't overlook, and that is that there's this little notch right here you can see, and that little notch fits right into that little into the loop, or the little spring in the shaft. And then on this end here, there is a flat area here that when you tighten this down, it engages that flat area, which I'm going to pull off. You can see it's a very tight fitting part. There's a flat area on both sides of this thing, okay? But that's essentially how that thing latches in. But in order to make this fit, in order for the spacing to be proper, you have to make sure that that little notch, okay, fits into that spring. It's a pretty critical detail, because if you overlook it, what you'll find out is you'll think initially that, oh wow, they didn't get the spacing of this right, or it doesn't fit. So it's really kind of important that you do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the top off of this, okay? We're going to insert our strut through the underside. You can see there's that little hole right here, and this has a nice forward rake. It's a nice doubler, but this is going to go all the way into here. We're going to hold that in place, and then on the top side here, I'm going to try to zoom in so everybody can kind of see what this looks like. Okay, and there is your very kind of close-up view of what this looks like. So we're going to take this arm, and very carefully, I'm going to do this with a pair of pliers, so hopefully, I'm hoping that you guys will be able to see this. But you're going to take this, put it right over the spline shaft, and this pin is going to fit right in this little notch, as you can see here. Now, if you don't have the spacer right, you won't have the correct amount of space here for the set screw on the back side to actually engage the flat area. So, and if you have too long of an Allen wrench, you're not going to be able to get into here. So you actually have to use one of these kind of Allen wrenches in here to get into the back side of this thing to tighten it up. Now once you have your set screw fully tightened, you can see how the steering action kind of works. It's a pretty simple steering mechanism. When your servo turns, it turns your nose wheel around, and it's pretty simple how that operates. Your servo from the inside will just turn your nose gear. So again, you have the option of flying this airplane, you know, fixed gear with a steerable nose wheel, ailerons, and elevator, or just removing this landing gear just as easily as we put it on, and you know, hand launching it and belly landing it. Okay, folks, that's pretty much it for your assembly on this X-Fly T-7A trainer jet. Real nice, folks. You can see just a little bit of gluing that you got to do for your tail section. I hadn't even actually glued the verticals on yet. I'll get those on shortly after. I just wanted to sort of expedite the video. It's real simple just to glue those in place. But you glue your horizontals, glue your verticals, screw your wings in with 2 connections, and then you know, screw your landing gear into place with 4 screws and a set screw, and that is it. But what a sharp looking airplane. Very, very neat. Very, very simple design. I did go ahead and I put in, and again, I'm going to try different batteries in this. I'll probably end up using, I'm going to try this larger 3200 4S Spectrum pack in there. I also have some 2200 Roaring Top 80C pack, so that should give it a bit of punch. But I think my battery of choice, folks, is probably going to end up being, you know, this one right here, which I'll flip around again. This is what I showed you guys sort of in the beginning. This is a Roaring Top 2600 80C, the recommended size pack, and we'll see how the CG balances out. It's supposed to balance at, I think it was like 50 or 51 millimeters aft the leading edge or something like that, probably about on that screw. But we'll talk about that, you know, when we fly the airplane. But really, guys, overall, a really pretty slick airplane. Very sharp design, very nice contrasty paint job. Fit and finish from X-Fly is really, it's pretty awesome, guys. I really like the look of the jet. It's pretty cool, and all we got to do now is just get it out the field and fly it. So stay tuned for that, guys. I'm really impressed at how easy it went together. And again, for anybody who, you know, likes a fixed gear simple jet, has 4-cell packs, or you're a sort of a belly launch or sort of hand launch and belly land, you know, kind of flyer, you like those kind of jets, this is probably going to be the plane for you, because actually when you look at the underside of this, the underside, the belly's pretty clean, as you can see. There's no real obstructions or anything. All you have to do is just use the 5 screws or the 4 screws and the set screw to pull your landing gear off of the thing, and you have a nice smooth surface to land on, and you don't really have to worry too much about, I don't think, the servos snagging. As long as you're not in tall grass, these don't really stick down very low. So, and that's always a problem, is having servos and horns and rods and stuff snagging on grass and stuff when you're, you know, belly landing an airplane. So really cool airplane, guys. Dying to get it out to the field. We will get it out here very shortly for everybody so you guys can check it out. Again, guys, the T-7A 4-cell powered 64 millimeter you know, EDF coming from X-Fly and Banana Hobby. Again, guys, I'll put the links in the description below, so check it out. Again, guys, at no cost to you, if you guys do decide to purchase one, if you use our link, you know, click on it and put it in your cart and purchase one, or anything for that matter, it supports our channel and doesn't cost you guys a dime. So anyway, I do appreciate you guys helping out, and what we'll do is we will get this out as soon as possible. Once we get the flight demos up, I'll put them in the, again, the upper right hand corner of this screen. As always, guys, please like and subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell. That's the best way to help us out. And hit that like button, guys. That like button is the thing that forces the YouTube algorithm to share all of our videos, and we will have more like these out very, very soon. So anyway, guys, really liking this airplane. Again, check it out at Banana Hobby. Appreciate you guys watching RC Informer. More videos are coming soon. Again, thanks for watching. As always, folks, we'll see y'all next time.